Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds. Heaven Godspeed.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Mindfulness isn't just about relaxing. By changing the neural connections and activity in the brain, you actually change what happens in the whole body.
The Scientific Benefits of Meditation and Prayer, Part 1 of 2. Please continue watching to find out more.
No to vegan. Join the queue for hell.
The beautiful Mazatec people express their warm regards to others by saying Tindali. This means greetings in Huatula Mazatec, a dialect of the indigenous Mazatec language. My name is Otli. The sincere people of the Mazatec nation invite you to join the prayer for humankind to realize their true noble nature. We are delighted to have you join us for part 1 of the 2-part series entitled The Scientific Benefits of Meditation and Prayer, part 1 of 2. At times of uncertainty and stress, more people have turned to meditation and prayer to restore emotional balance or connect to God. A 2017 survey shows that the percentage of U.S. adults who practice mindfulness, mantra-based, and spiritual meditation tripled between 2012 and 2017, from 4% to more than 14%. Half of the U.S. citizens prayed during the COVID pandemic in the past 3 years, and the world has also been praying for the people of Ukraine, or Ukraine, since the start of the Russian invasion. Despite their long histories, meditation and prayer have begun to transform into something scientific only in recent decades. Numerous studies emerge in the fields of psychology, behavioral medicine, and neurosciences, attesting to the visible benefits of meditation and mindfulness practices. Psychological and behavioral therapy are quick to identify the effectiveness of meditation and mindfulness. Meditation helps to decrease stress, improve concentration, reduce symptoms of depression and anxiety, lessen pain and insomnia, and generate a sense of happiness. Neuroscience, on the other hand, set out to explain the reasons. How can something as simple as holding a yoga posture or doing 20 minutes of sincere prayer achieve so many wonderful things? Is it possible to map meditation experiences in the brain? After she started to learn yoga, Dr. Sarah Lazar made meditation the topic of her first neuroscientific research. It is known that repeated activities such as juggling can change the brain. How about meditation? She wondered. In 2011, her team at Harvard Medical School found that meditation led to the thickening of regional brain gray matter. Her refined follow-up research shows that changes in the thickened areas of the brain mirror the psychological improvements of participants.
The first study we did, we recruited a bunch of people from the Boston area, and these were not monks or meditation teachers. These were just average Joes who, on average, practice meditation about 30 or 40 minutes a day. And we put them in the scanner, and we compared them to a group of people who are demographically matched, but who don't meditate. And what we found is this, that there were indeed several regions of the brain that had more gray matter in the meditators compared to the controls. One of the regions I'm going to point out to you is here in the front of the brain. It's an area that's important for working memory and executive decision making. And what was interesting was that in this one region, the 50-year-old meditators had the same amount of cortex as the 25-year-olds, suggesting that meditation practice may actually slow down or prevent the natural age-related decline in cortical structure.
Not only does meditation change the brain, so do prayers. Strong evidence shows that prayer decreases anxiety and stress, enables inner peace, and even increases one's ability to endure pain. Sincere prayer is a type of mindfulness. Dr. Michael Bain, director of the Penn Program for Mindfulness, said mindfulness changes the neural connections in the brain.
Mindfulness isn't just about relaxing. By changing the neural connections and activity in the brain, you actually change what happens in the whole body.
Often, sincere prayer can be experienced as deep meditation, as in the case of Dr. Scott McDermott, Reverend Minister of the United Methodist Church. He has been praying for 1 to 2 hours a day for 35 years. I begin at 5:30, he told Barbara Bradley Haggerty, an American journalist and author. My study is down in my basement. I have a recliner there. I walk down, turn the lights on, and say, God, it's just me. I just want to spend some time with you. And I sit in that chair, and we begin to have a conversation. At one time, Dr. McDermott saw fire dancing on his eyelids. I felt God said to me, you be the oil, and I'll be the flame. Then I began to feel waves of the Spirit flow through my body. The experience echoes that of ancient saints. Miss Haggerty became curious about what a scientist had to say about this.
Meat eating contributes to a mentality of violence, for with a chemically complex meat ingested, one absorbs the slaughtered creature's fear, pain, and terror. These qualities are nourished within the meat eater, perpetuating the cycle of cruelty and confusion. Sadhguru Shivaya Subramania Swami, vegetarian.
Enlightened viewers would like to take a moment to pray for Ukrainian or Iranian people to soon enjoy peace. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. Compassionate viewers, welcome back to our show on the scientific benefits of meditation and prayer. Barbara Bradley Haggerty was inspired by Dr. McDermott's experience. She visited the lab of Dr. Andrew Newberg to witness the brain scanning of the Reverend Pastor during the peak of his prayer. Neuroscientist Dr. Newberg has pioneered studies of the brain activities of various religious individuals and is one of the leading people who coined the term neurotheology as a field of study. He finds that spiritual practices in general, including prayer and mantra-related practices, can profoundly transform the brain. In one of his projects, an older group of 20 who suffered from memory difficulty were taught a brief mantra-based prayer. They did it 12 minutes a day for 8 weeks, and after, tests indicated a 10 to 15% improvement in focus and memory. Through SPECT or single photon emission computerized tomography, Dr. Newberg identified specific areas of concentrated brain activities.
When you actually study what's happening in their brains as they are doing those things, what are you actually doing?
Well, we use a variety of different brain scanning techniques. Usually we're trying to look at the activity changes in the brain. We've done about over 200 people doing different types of practices. We actually either use an MRI machine to take pictures of the activity of their brain while they're doing the practice. We sometimes use something called single photon emission computed tomography or SPECT imaging, which also looks at the activity changes in the brain. And we can see that the patterns of activity that are different when the person is engaged in the prayer practice compared to when they're just at rest. What we're trying to show is a whole network of structures that seems to be activated when people engage these different kinds of practices. There are some very consistent kinds of changes that we have started to see when we look at what's going on in the brain of people when they engage these different types of spiritual practices.
Science has identified distinct functions of brain sections. While the frontal cortex is associated with speech, expression, or ocular movement, the prefrontal cortex connects with the executive power of decision-making and planning. On the other hand, the nucleus accumbens in the ventral striatum mediates emotion, motivation, and molecules of reward and contentment. In 2016, Dr. Michael Ferguson, then a PhD student, asked if different meditation studies end up singling out similar brain sections. The project he participated in scanned brain activities of devout members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints as they feel the Spirit at the peak of their prayer.
The three areas of the brain that consistently demonstrated elevated activity were the frontal attention regions, the medial prefrontal cortex, and the nucleus accumbens, an area of the brain with an enriched supply of the reward molecule dopamine. This trinity of neural regions sketches what we can reasonably label as the neuro-spiritual system of Mormonism. The implications are profound. So many of the world's spiritual traditions report profound feelings of oneness with a transcendent source, often accompanied by an increased charitable disposition. Could it be that these cultural variations are all being supported by a common core of brain networks? For the first time in the history of contemplative philosophy and the sciences of the mind, we can answer these questions empirically by skillfully measuring brain activity with more temporal and spatial precision than we've ever been able to do.
Later studies addressed his question in another way. Do different meditation practices impact the brain differently? Answers to that question are likely to redefine the science of well-being.
Vegan, because we don't have Planet B.
Thank you, novel viewers, for being with us today. Please join us again on Wednesday, January 11th for part 2 of this fascinating series. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television for Selflessness and Humility, part 9 of 12. On Between Master and Disciples, up next after Noteworthy News. May your noble prayers for a vegan paradise soon be fulfilled in God's radiant grace.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds. Hell not reach.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/ss.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule et suprememastertv.com/ss.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule y suprememastertv.com/ss.
Манай нэвтрүүлгүүд олон хэлээр гардаг. Зочлох хаяг suprememastertv.com/schedule болон suprememastertv.com/ss